39 years way back in 1982, International Karate Organization Kyokushin Kaikan, the world head founder of that organization, Sosai Masema, was coming to Sri Lanka. The team from India were preparing to go to Sri Lanka. So I sent my secretary, Mikiko Sharon Kanseko, whom I met in the yoga teachers training course, along with the Indian team to Sri Lanka, because I was making arrangements for Sosai Masayama's visit to India. So Mikiko Sharon went to Sri Lanka. I sent Mikiko Sharon Kanseko because Sosai Masayama was insisting on having an interpreter to translate Japanese to English, and Mikiko Sharon Kanseko stayed in Canada for a long time, and she came to attend the yoga teachers training course. That's where I met her, and then she became the secretary. So after the Sri Lankan visit, they came back from Colombo to I don't know where, and they reached Rameshwaram. From Rameshwaram, they have to reach Chennai. And Sharon came and told me, I can't understand this boy's mind. For half an hour, all these Indian boys were fighting among each other. So I got worried. I went and asked them, what are they fighting for? And they said, this bus will go to Chennai, that bus will not go to Chennai. They are fighting among each other. So I said, stop. I rushed up to the enquiry counter, asked which bus goes. And they said, this bus goes. Problem is solved. Sometimes you have to know the reality. Same thing happened after 39 years down. Day before yesterday, Zinni wanted to go to Lulu Mart. She insisted I must go with her. Lulu Mart started a new branch calling the biggest multiplex complex in Bangalore City. She wanted to go. I said, okay. I was tired still, I want to drive. So I asked where it is. And we started driving. Halfway through, I said, we will put the GPS. We put the GPS, and the GPS took us. From my ashram to Majestic, it takes 40 minutes or maximum 1 hour. We kept on driving using the GPS. We left at 4 o'clock. We reached Lulu Mart at 7 o'clock using the GPS. Then I was telling them, next time before study, you tell us where it is. Let us study the address properly and the nearest landmark so that we can reach. Instead of going straight to Lulu to Majestic and turning to the right, there is where Lulu Mart is. They took us all around Bangalore, 3 hours. So using your intelligence a bit is very, very important. Ezra Weston Loomis Pound, born on 30th October 1885, Idaho in United States of America, died on 1st November 1972 in the Venice in Italy, was an expatriate American poet and critic, a major figure in the early modernist poetry movement, and a fascist collaborator in Italy during World War II. His works include Repose 1912, Hugh Selwyn Moore Burgley 1920, and his 800-page epic poem The Cantos 1917 to 1962. Ezra Pound said real education must ultimately be limited to men who insist on knowing. The rest is mere sheep herding. When I heard the sheep herding, it reminded me about this story of the shepherd. Shepherd takes the sheep to one place, and from there he waves at another flock of sheep and said, I am taking this flock to see God, to heaven. And the sheep enter from this door, And the shepherd comes out from the other side and he said, everybody has gone to heaven to see God. And another flock said, yes, we are coming. There's a big crowd. And the shepherd goes down. He takes another one flock again up and keeps on coming. And where is he taking? Nobody has bothered to check that one. And when we look, he was taking from the entry of the door, it's a butcher's place. And they enter, every sheep has been cut, and the shepherd comes out and says, everybody has gone to God. But if you are a little intelligent, you could have checked it. Whether the sheep, the leader is actually taking to the heaven. Which heaven? Like what happened to me, we tried driving from my Devanali ashram to Majestic, which is around 25 to 30 kilometers, for 3 hours. 3 hours. We knew the place, but we used GPS. The moment you take another help without using your own talent, you are lost. Whenever you fight man to man, I tricked today Padma by asking a question, indirect question, and then tricked her by another question. And she was still holding on to the first question. I said, you should have dropped that first question. And when a second question comes, you should try to look into that question and answer is fine. You are trying to hold on to this question. That's why in all competitive exams, they try to trick you. Even in the fighting arena also, man to man, you should believe in your talent. You are practiced. You are 100% practiced. You are very much sure of your talent before you go into the ring. Before you go to the stage, they say you must practice 1,000 times unconsciously before you go to the stage. 1,000 times, yes. And if you are very much sure, what is the fear? Why should you look at the talent of the opposite partner? Irrelevant. If your fighting tactics are perfectly done, sharpened, then you can know where to hit and you can use the whole power. You have done your circuit training to improve your stamina. You have done a dead weight to improve your power to take in punishment. You have practiced the tactics, when to hit, how to hit. Your movements are perfect. You have done your food diet. That is before the tournament. It is 3 days, 6 days before the tournament. First 3 days is protein. The last 3 days is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates gives you instant energy. If you have knowing, that's what Ezra Western Loomis said. Real education must ultimately be limited to men who insist on knowing. Knowing is very important. Insist on knowing. The people are not knowing are sheep. You do not have to care. Everybody knew about it, that these are sheeps. They get carried away by the remote control, by the mobile, by the television. They do not know that they are getting tricked. If you are very much sure, real education must ultimately be limited to men who insist on knowing. Knowing is very, very important. To ask, to seek, to find on you to understand this family, this body. Whether if you understood this body, then you are not fighting another body. I always used to tell my children, my girl children or my boy children, look at the man, huge man with a huge big belly and huge size. Don't get frightened. You look at the belly, you know he doesn't have stomach. One punch on the stomach, he'll be down. Look at his huge body. His legs will be weak. Hit him on the lower leg. Yes. Not looking at the size, looking at the weakness. Your strength is very, very important. The rest is mere sheep herding, and the whole world understood that you can be purchased. Because all that glitters, you are interested in getting attracted, and the whole education, school education has taught you that. When the moment you got disconnected from family, to disconnect, they keep on threatening you that you go to the tuition. So you have no relationship with your father and mother. You keep on leaving the house with somebody else. Drop that somebody and look into you, buddy, and then you can understand your family is your strength. That knowing is the real literacy. That knowing will keep you from your diseases. That knowing will help you to go deep into your samskriti, to practice your samskriti. Your practicing samskriti will allow you to bring your sweat out. And when sweat comes out, you can only see the body is boiling. You never feel it is tiring. You never feel it is himse, it is torture. You only find the more it burns, the more talent comes out. Strike when the rod is hot, goes the same. To the highest temperature, the gold melts, and that person can make varieties of answers. And you can lead. You are a leader. Ezra Western Loomis points a real education must ultimately be limited to men who insist on knowing. Knowing is very important. The rest is mere sheep herding.